Philadelphia, San Jose, or DC, Los Angeles Galaxy.
Pitch Pass.
Colorado Rapids, Vancouver Whitecaps, Seattle Sounders, Montreal Impact, USA, New York Red Bulls.
Pitch Pass, your all-access credential to the people that matter in MLS. Here's your host, Greg Roach.
Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for downloading the episode. I invite you to check out pitchpass.com. Sebastian Salazar, our good friend, has written a couple of really good, interesting posts that we've put up at pitchpass.com that you will probably be interested in reading. So it's not just podcasts anymore. We're doing the written word as well. And by the way, if you're a young writer who covers MLS or who wants to cover MLS, get in touch with us. Maybe there's a little place for you on the staff. pitchpass@gmail.com. Alexi Lawless will join us in a few moments. We will talk about U.S. Open Cup, we'll talk about MLS, and we'll talk about the U.S. men's national team as he gets ready to cover the match for ESPN. That's happening Wednesday against Belgium. That match is taking place in Cleveland. 8 o'clock is when you will be tuning in to ESPN. So we'll talk to Alexi a little bit later. Right now, though, we talked to one of, in my opinion, one of the most exciting prospects in MLS. He's having the breakout season that we thought that he would have. It's happening now. He is a midfielder for Vancouver Whitecaps. He's Russell Teibert, and he joins us right now. Russell, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just going to get right to it. I'm going to ask you the most poignant question I'm going to ask you in our entire conversation. Do you feel you have the best hair in MLS?
I don't know. I'll leave that one up to the fans to judge.
Well, there is no fan, because this isn't a vote. They don't do an MLS end of the season award, sadly, Russell, and maybe not yet. Maybe that's coming. So we can't leave it up to the fans. We have to go by what you and your peers think. So yes or no, do you have the best hair in MLS?
Well, let me ask you. Do you think I do?
Here's why I say yes. Because you look at guys like Yedlin, who have the really, like, the eye-catching, but they've got to go outrageous. I feel like your hair, it works. You could wear a tuxedo with that and still look classy, but you can also ball out with that hairdo. So that's why I got to say you're at least the front runner, if not number one.
Well, your opinion really matters to me, so I think it is. I think it might be.
Now, what are we calling this particular style? Because I know you like to change it up a lot, and this new one I think is my favorite because it's the most unique. What are we calling it? Is it a modified comb over?
No, it could be anything, but let's just call it the Russell Teibert.
I like that. So later on, maybe when Bex announces his MLS franchise, he'll be having the Teibert as he announces it.
That would be something.
Now, the other thing that I noticed as I was Googling your name, one of the things that comes up is your FIFA ratings. And I got to think, first of all, you play the game, correct?
No, I used to, but I don't really play too many video games anymore.
Even though you're in the game? I feel like if I was in a game, I'd be playing it all the time. Even if I was really bad at it, I'd just be playing it.
Yeah, my friends tell me all about it because they always play with the Whitecaps.
So are they disappointed in your numbers, and have they told you?
No, I mean they improved me a lot. I think you can do that in the game. I think you can improve the stats. So I think they've done that for me.
Okay, they've upped your stuff. Like your movement numbers are strong, but I feel like maybe because you're so new on the scene that they've kind of had to lowball you a little bit to give you something to work towards.
I don't know what my rating is, but I think it can only get better. Yeah,
exactly. So I remember talking to Mark Weber of the Province last season, maybe early in the season, and I brought up your name specifically because I had read a lot about you, and this is kind of before you made your splash toward the end of last season, and his response was that there was a lot of expectations for you because you're Canadian and you play on a Canadian team, but that the injuries where people had to temper your expectations for what they could expect from you because of the injuries you were having. Was that a frustrating time for you?
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I think 2 years ago when I hurt my toe and then I hurt my rib, and I think it was things I couldn't understand or couldn't control, and I couldn't get on the field. Whereas last year I was healthy and I could control certain situations, but I just couldn't get on the field as well. So, I think both my first two seasons have shaped me and prepared me for what this year's brought.
Do you feel any, I don't, is pressure the right word, or expectations knowing the kind of expectations that your country has for you and specifically the city that you're living in?
No. I think a lot of Canadians within this club and within the country want me to do well. And I think with that is I want to be the best I can be for this country and my club. So, I take that pressure and I use it to drive me on.
Is it a fair analogy to say that you have the potential to be a Landon Donovan-esque player as far as impact on the country and the mainstream aspect of the country for Canada?
Landon Donovan is a great player, and he's done great things for not only his country but the clubs he's played at. So, he's a great player, and he showed that throughout his entire career. I'm only in the early stages of mine, but I think there's a lot of time left, and I think there's some big things that I can achieve.
I know that you played hockey growing up, and the big thing in the States is to make the analogy of, well, what if our best athletes were playing soccer? So they say American football, or they say basketball. You played hockey. Is that something that you think about as far as the development of Canadian soccer, as getting athletes who are kind of funneled towards hockey and maybe getting them off and starting to play soccer instead?
I think hockey is a big sport in Canada. Well, obviously it is. And I love playing hockey growing up, but Canadian soccer just keeps on improving and it keeps getting better and better. So, and you see that with our U17s qualifying for World Cups now. And, I think Canadian soccer is on the rise. And like I said, the same thing about me. I think Canadian soccer as a whole is just going to keep getting better and better. And there's a lot more to come from us. Yeah,
but what made you decide to forsake hockey or forgo hockey and concentrate on soccer?
Might have been my size. I'm not quite sure, but no, it was soccer and hockey were beginning to conflict because with the U14 provincial teams, we trained throughout the entire year, and before that, I could play hockey in the winter and soccer in the summer, and it started to conflict, and I was traveling up to Toronto 5 to 6 times a week, so I had to choose whether I was going to play hockey or soccer, and it was a difficult decision because my uncle was actually the coach of my hockey team at the time, and those guys that I've been playing hockey with all my youth became somewhat like my brothers. So it was a big decision, but in the end, I'm happy with the decision I made. Having said that, if you were 6'1", 210, you'd be playing hockey right now? No, I still think I'd be playing soccer.
First, Nathan, your PR guy, I have to call him out because he sent an email saying that you had played in the past, and he said that you played center forward for your hockey team, and I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, what's going on with that? Center forward, Russell? Can you tell him there's no such position as center forward in hockey?
Nate's got to stick to the PR stuff. He doesn't. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, you should just said I'm a center, man. You should have just kept it simple.
Exactly. Just say center, and then you leave the forward, right? Just leave that for soccer.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So, I know I'm originally from Philadelphia. I live in D.C. now, and here, obviously, American football is huge, and everybody always asks, well, when are you going to start being a Redskins fan rather than an Eagles fan? And I always say to myself, why would I change just because I'm living in another city? Do you get that kind of pressure as far as Canucks versus Leafs are concerned?
Well, the Leafs, when I was growing up, they did all right, but for the past couple of years before this year, they hadn't made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long, so I stopped supporting them a little bit.
Oh, but, Russell, come on!
I know it's bad, but I stopped watching hockey in general. But I've gotten a little bit back into it. I wouldn't say I'm a Canucks fan, and I wouldn't say I'm a Leafs fan. I still like watching a little bit of hockey, and whenever I get a chance to go watch the Canucks play, I take that opportunity. You almost just started a Canadian national incident with those comments. I thought you were going to say, I don't really follow the Leafs anymore. I'm a big Canucks fan. No, I don't know if I could say that. I gotta remember where I came from. Exactly. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your relationship with Nigel Reo-Coker, who it would seem on the surface you wouldn't have too much in common with, but things that I've read says that you guys have really hit it off and really bonded. What do you think is the thing that kind of made you guys click so quickly when he came to the team? I think it's hard to pinpoint it out as one thing, but I remember the first time we met, it was he just got off a flight, and he was coming into the hotel, and we had a team meal, and we do the buffet style as a team meal. And he was the first one in there because, like I said, he just got off the plane and someone just taken him in. And I think there was one or two guys in there, and I went and got a big plate of food. And, everything on the buffet looked great. So I grabbed the big plate and piled on the food.
Of everything?
And, and he was sitting at the same table as me, and he said to me, there's no way you're going to finish all that. And I looked at him thinking, well, this is what I eat every night. I think I'm going to. And he goes, no, there's no way. So we made a bet, and it was a $50 bet. And I was like, look, I'm going to finish this food. So the end of the dinner comes, and, I actually went up to get seconds. And we're sitting there talking, and there's a bunch of guys just chatting, and he pulls out a $50 bill, and he goes, can't remember what he said to me, but he was just shocked. I think the next day we had to play a game against Carolina, and, we were partnered up in the center midfield together, and I think as well as we clicked off the field, I think we clicked on the field as well.
What has he brought to your game that may have been lacking in, I guess, maybe with his experience playing over in England?
Yeah, he's been teaching me the art of midfield since the first day he got here. But I think the biggest thing he gives to me and continues to give to me on a day-to-day basis is his confidence. And when a player of that stature gives you his confidence and gives you his trust, it does something to your performance. I thank him for that every day.
You still prefer playing out wide?
I like both. I like playing out wide and be able to come inside, and I like playing in the middle and be able to go outside. So I think both. It's important to be good in both positions.
Let's talk about Voyageurs Cup. And as we record this, you guys are playing tomorrow night against Montreal Impact at home, and kind of everything on the line with a 0-0 draw on the first leg in Montreal. For people who maybe like myself, an American, what does the Voyageurs Cup mean in Canada, and what would it mean to you guys to win it?
It's huge. Being a Canadian team, actually being a Canadian kid and playing this game, it's huge for all of us. It's important for us to be the best team in Canada, and it's important. We all know how important it is because we know what comes after this. By winning this game, we set up ourselves nicely for a lot of great things to come in the future. So I think we prepared well for this game, and I think tomorrow we have a great shot to win.
Do you guys think to yourself, and you specifically, do you allow yourself to look ahead and think to yourself, oh, CONCACAF Champions League, we've seen TFC have some really good runs with, no disrespect to them, not the strongest teams that they could put out, but they still were able to make a run. Do you think to yourselves, oh, this is something that we could do as well if we get to that point?
Yeah, and I think the main thing is taking care of tomorrow and, taking care of business on that day. Montreal's a great team, and, they're going to be looking to do the same thing, so we're lucky to be at home playing in front of our fans in our own city, and I think that's going to work to our advantage. And
I'm sure it does mean a little something special just because it's a pure Canadian experience.
Yeah, I think the Voyageurs Cup is a Canadian trophy, and me being a Canadian kid, you always want to win trophies. I think everybody does on our team, but it would be a nice trophy to win.
Your biggest fashion influence on the Whitecaps is who?
My biggest what?
Fashion influence. Who do you look at and go, that guy's a good dresser. I'm going to incorporate some of the things that they do into my style.
Myself.
I thought maybe you were gonna give a little love to Nigel, maybe because he was bringing a little European style to
No.
It's you.
No.
You are the fashionista of the Whitecaps, hands down. You won't take the hair award, but you'll steal the fashion award all day.
You could say that.
All right, well then let me ask you this. What is it about your fashion sense that makes you such a leader on the team?
It's just versatile,
No influences. It's just you think it's just straight like the hairdo. It's just straight Teibert.
Yeah, it's just straight Teibert.
Russell, thank you, man. We appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow in Voyageurs Cup, and best of luck for the rest of the season. You're having a breakout year, and I hope it continues for you.
I hope so, too. Thank you very much for having me.
Fun guy, and even more fun to watch. If you have not checked out a Whitecaps match this season, definitely make sure you tune in and make sure you keep a little eye on Russell Teibert as he goes about his business on the pitch. It is something to get excited about for the future of the league.